Hello students, now we'll be moving ahead in our chapter employment and unemployment, and now we'll be learning about the different type of unemployment which are there in the market. So basically in this first rural employment we are going to discuss that basically in rural employment what are the different types of unemployment are there. So first one is disguised unemployment. So what is disguised unemployment? See, suppose there is a piece of land where only five people are required. Okay, only five people are required, but suppose on the same field there are 10 people who are actually working. Okay, so 10 people are there who are working like that. Now here requirement is only of 5 people, so rest 10 will be considered as unemployed because actually they are not needed in that part of field. So if even if they are working, you can see them that they are working, but we will not consider them as employed because they are simply doing nothing, because they are contributing nothing to the production. Actually the productivity will not increase if those five people can produce, say for example 100 quintals of rice. Okay, 100 quintals of rice, then in that case if 10 are employed, then still that production level of 100 quintal is not going to rise. So in this case nothing is been added to the productivity. So this is what we called as disguised unemployment. So you can see people that 10 people are working, but actually there is requirement of only 5, and the 5 will be rest 5 will be considered as disguised unemployed. Now the second one will be seasonal unemployment. This is a simple one. See, according to the different season there is a requirement of the workers. So if you say for example, let's take example of rainy season. In rainy season there is huge requirement of raincoats and umbrella. So for some time what happens, the people will get the job, some people will remain employed and they will work for certain season, and rest of the season they will be remaining unemployed. Okay, so that is the meaning of seasonal unemployment. Okay, so this is the kind of thing which you can say it is also based on the agriculture, like in case of soya bean also, when the companies all this uses or manufacture the soya bean, they will require some all this kind of stuff, and the people will get work because of that. Soya bean season is there, and what happens afterward, what happens when that season is gone, so half of the time they'll be remaining unemployed over there. So here let's read it. Another kind of rural employment is seasonal. So here during the off season, the farm workers are out of the job and they don't get any kind of work over there. So the volume of the seasonal unemployment depend upon the condition and method of cultivation in the different states. So it basically depends on the different methods of cultivations. Okay. So it is estimated as the farmer who grows one crop in a year usually remain unemployed for 5 to 7 months. So if you are going only one type of crops, okay, suppose, then in that case what happens, 5 to 7 months you will be remaining unemployment. Now here in rural areas, beside agriculture, there are many other seasonal activities like sugarcane crushing, brick kilns. Workers get engaged in this activity, remain occupied for a few months in a year. Rest for the period they remain unemployed. So this is how you can say that some of the part of the rural area they'll get some work, then rest of the time they'll be remaining unemployed. If you look at this example, okay. Now here urban unemployment. So in urban area means in cities also there is unemployment. They also find this kind of problem. So what is the first problem or first time? This is industrial unemployment. What is this? See, it includes those illiterate people who are willing to work in the companies or industries, mining, transport, trades, construction activity. Now all these activity get happens only in your cities or urban areas. So the principal cause of industrial unemployment are rapid rise in population over time. So because there is a huge rise in population, so the supply of labor is more in relation to its demand. So the demand is less, supply is more. So this leads to the industrial unemployment. The second is concentration of the industry in the urban area. Now all this industry are in urban area only, so the location is in urban area, now in the cities. So owing to this concentration of industry in the urban area, there is a growing tendency among the rural people to migrate to urban areas in search of job. But the industrial expansion has not been so important or significant as to offer gainful employment to all the migrants. So many people come to urban areas, means they come to cities in search of some work, but all of them don't get any kind of job. So some of them remain unemployment. So this is another thing which you can say that the peoples are not getting jobs in this urban areas. Then the third point states that that the industries, the third point reads what? The industries in the India are relying more on labor saving Western technology. This limits the labor absorption capacity of the industrial sector despite of its expansion over time. This further compounds the problem of industrial unemployment. So see, everybody what the company tries to do, they always try to save the labor. So every company wants less labor and they want more work from them. So that's why in India, which is a kind of tendency that people nowadays they are relying on machinery or capital intensive technique also. So because of that, many laborers remain unemployed. Now educated unemployment means that person who is educated, he is also unemployed. So in India, the problem of unemployment among the educated person is very serious. It is a big problem here across all the part of the country, and it is like a threat to the social peace and harmony. Because when we see on the looking towards the education level in this country or India, on account of expansion of education institute, like lot of good universities and schools and all, universities, colleges, number of educated person has increased. So we did good in this area, like education sector we did good. Now in spite of that, if you are not getting job, then it's a problem. Now the second point here is education system in India is not job oriented. Means whenever you complete a degree kind of course, so you will not get job, you'll have to search for jobs. So that is another problem. Okay, so basically many people who are having degree, they will be wandering around in search of job in the markets. Now third point, increase in employment opportunity has significantly lagged behind the increase in size of educated labor force. The number of educated employed registered with the employment exchange has tended to swell. So if you look at this employment registered, all this consultancy also, all these government agencies who registered the people, so number is increasing. Means that people who are unemployed, their number is continuously rising. So why does it happen? See, because increase in employment opportunity has significantly lagged behind. Means when you look towards this employment opportunity, so there is very less jobs which are created in the past years, which is a real serious problem for India. Now the common types of unemployment are open unemployment. Okay, what is open? It means involuntary unemployment. Means open employment occurs when the worker is willing to work at the existing wages and has necessary ability to work, yet he does not get work. So only that people are counted here who are ready to work at the existing wages. Means they, whatever the money is been provided by the market, they are ready to work. But the problem is that these people are not getting the work. So that is what we call as open unemployment. Okay, now this type of unemployment is usually found among agriculture laborers, educated person also. So this is the kind of thing which can be seen in villages also, and you can find such kind of things in the cities also. So this type of unemployed peoples are both in rural and urban areas. And second is structural unemployment. Now what is structural? Whenever there's a change in economy happens, like from primary sector you are shifting to the secondary sector, and the people who are engaged in the primary sector, they'll be shifting their jobs or leaving that industry and coming to the another sector, either secondary or maybe tertiary. So when these changes happen, because when one sector improves, the other sector also get ready for performance, and it also starts to work. So this is the kind of thing which is called a structural unemployment kind of thing. Because whenever this such kind happens, such changes occurs, so it will take some time to make the changes. Like whenever people are moving to this industry, so there will be change in technology. So here we can say that the change in technology, as a result of which old technocrats are no longer needed. So whenever these structural changes happens, means change in technology happens, the people who learned the previous technology will become outdated, and they will not be any longer required by the company. Then they will be unemployed. Then second is change in the pattern of demand, because of which certain industries are closed down. So whenever see certain innovations are there, or some changes like technology has come up, so the people will lose their job who are working on the previous kind of technology. So the pattern of demand also changes. Like suppose today you are demanding some kind of clothes, and tomorrow you don't demand such kind of clothes, you are demanding something else. Then like we are demanding like some different kind of clothes, like maybe leather kind of stuff we want now. So it will, what will happen to this textile means mills, in this case, definitely it will go out of business. Such kind of industries will be closed down, and all the employees who will be working in such textile industry will lose their jobs. But in India, the climate is not a cool kind of climate. Here, the climate is like we can see all the seasons are here in India, because we already belong to this torrid zone, and India is a kind of country wherein we experience summer, winter, rainy, all the seasons. So here, industries of different types of belonging to the different types of seasons can be seen here. So here still, when this pattern changes, like when this any kind of innovation happens, due to it, if anybody is unemployed, then this is a kind of unemployment which is called as structural unemployment. Okay, so a less developed country like India encounters significant structural changes in the process of growth. A high degree of structural unemployment exists both in rural and urban areas. So India's less developed country, and in India, in a developing country, what happened now? All these structural changes takes place. Like India was not efficient in 50s and 60s about this technology on, but later on, what happened in 70s, this electronic goods industry came up. So people learned this type of technique of production, like making electronic goods, engineering kind of education was taken up by them, and all these structural changes were taking place. And due to it, whenever you are doing such a kind of training, during that period, what happens, you will be taking training, so definitely at that time you will not be working. So just for getting that job, for the sake of getting that job, you sacrifice some time in taking that education. So for that time you will remain idle, you will not be working, you will be remaining unemployed for that. So this is called as structural unemployment. Then what is underemployment level? So underemployment means it is a situation in which worker does not get full-time job. He remains unemployment for some months in a year or some hours every day. So underemployment level comes when the actual aggregate demand is not there. So here in this kind of underemployment, when the aggregate demand is less, so maybe possible that the people who want to give or want to work, they don't find any kind of job in the market, and even if they are getting such kind of job, it will be only for some month in a year, or only for some days maybe. So this is called as underemployment level, means the people is ready to provide all the kind of service, he is ready to work, but the thing is that the company is not ready to take up his services, his labor. So this is a kind of situation, this is called as underemployment, when the demand falls in the economy, that is aggregate demand. Okay, then what is frictional unemployment? This also been studied in your economics, macroeconomics. So what is frictional employment? See, whenever an employee is changing from one job to the other, okay, definitely he'll be sitting idle for some time. So this time of he's sitting idle, that particular time he'll be called as unemployed. So when the employee shift or changes his job, so between this changing, for the time period he is remaining idle or he is remaining unemployed, this thing is called as frictional unemployment. Okay. Now example here which they are giving is, working ladies getting married may decide to remain out of the job for a couple of weeks or months. This is also called as frictional. So simply you are working but you are simply sitting idle for some time and not going to work. So this is called as frictional unemployment. Okay. Now here also the example which I gave to you, it occurs due to the imperfection in the mobility of the laborers across different occupations. So whenever that employee try to move from one job to the other, he remains idle. So here it is written like one wishes to move from one job to the other. So same thing I was telling you. So it is called as frictional. Now what is cyclic unemployment? So cyclic unemployment means, in the economy there are basically three types of cycles. Like boom cycle is there, recession will be there, depression will be there. So boom is a kind of time period where the employee finds a lot of jobs, means lot of demand will be there in the economy, the company will be ready to provide jobs to the peoples. And what happens, this boom period doesn't continue forever, then the recession comes, means recession is a time period where the demand drops in the economy, and due to it many people become unemployment. And even in this recession, if the government is not able to come up with the proper policy like fiscal policy and monetary policy which has been done by this RBI, then in this condition suppose the worst situation which come after recession is called as depression. So here in depression many firms will be closed, because here in depression the demand will be completely gone, because the people will not be having jobs, they will be having very less income, so they will not be able to buy the products. So in this case it is very difficult for the company to manage, like when this bank, because most of the company how they do the business, they will be taking loan from the market, and from that loan they are going to manage their business. So when no demand is there, they're not going to do any kind of production, but the bank will ask for interest for that loan, so they will have to pay interest anyways. So in this order what they will do, the companies, they will drop their prices and they will be running in losses, and maybe possible that some company will not be able to take such kind of loss. So all such kind of company is going to shut down, they're going to close their business, and due to it also many people will remain unemployed. So this is called as cyclical unemployment. Okay, now what are the causes of unemployment in India? So basically slow economic growth. So Indian economic growth is very slow. Because of that, we are unable to generate enough employment opportunity, because the labor force is rising, but we are not able to increase this economic growth speed and all. So because of that, many people are not getting job. Then second, rising population, another problem. So population is rising and it's not possible to provide job to each and everyone. Okay, so this is why, because of this increasing population, this is the second reason. Then agriculture, a seasonal occupation. So many in agriculture, what happen in a country like India, that's called as seasonal unemployment, because the people are busy in doing some seasonal work only, or seasonal agriculture only. So no doubt in this primary occupation of the country and a large size of population depend upon it, but it's a seasonal character done, does not provide stable jobs to the farmer throughout the year. So maybe they will be remaining idle for 3 to 4 months, means growing a single crop, and for the rest of the time these people are remaining idle. So this is called of this kind of unemployment which is called as seasonal unemployment, and this is related to this rural unemployment. Now lack of irrigation facilities, now again it is related to the rural areas. Now because of this lack of irrigation facilities, what happens, all these things are very less, still now the irrigation facilities are not proper, so it covers only 44% of the agriculture area. For want of irrigation, monocropping, only one crop a year, becomes a compulsion. So because of this less irrigation facility, they are able to grow only single crop in a year, which is again like for the rest of the time period, what these people are going to do, they are going to remain or sit idle for this time period. So because of this irrigation facilities, the lacking of this irrigation facilities, they are remaining idle, and this is the another cause of this unemployment. Then joint family system, in this family system what happen, everybody will be remaining or staying together in this joint family system. Now what happens, there are the number of members in such a family will be too many, but the working member, the people who will be employed or really working or finding some jobs, they'll be less in number. Many times we see family business, like family is very big, but the business is going on and entire family is surviving on that single business, and all the peoples are remaining idle. They are maybe possible that they all are educated, but they are not working or they are not productive in any kind of production activity, they are not involved. So this is called as joint family problem is there in India. So if a single business is there, then there are possibilities that there can be a good graduate or postgraduate in the family, but they are not ready to take up, because already the business is going on. So what is the need to work for them? So this is how these people are also educated, but they are not having any kind of employment in their hand. Now how can you solve this problem? So we can, it is very simple to give suggestion, like increase in production. We can increase our production in all the three sectors, that is primary, secondary and tertiary sector, and we can develop some small and a small cottage industry. Because of this, because why cottage industry, because cottage industry uses labor intensive, means here we are going to appoint the labor who will be working in the company. So here by establishing cottage industry, we can attract or we can employ more peoples towards work, and we can give more employment to the people. Then the second point is increase in productivity. When your productivity will rise, so if productivity rise, what happen, so higher profit will be generated. Then what will happen, see there is a greater demand for the labor, because when production increases, what happens, you cannot do production without the use of labor. So when you're rising this productivity, definitely you will require more labor. So in this way you can provide more people's work. Okay, so this is the kind of thing, when you increase this productivity, employment automatically generates. Then high rate of capital formation. Capital formation means investment. So if the companies are investing lot, like more machinery, they should invest in purchasing more machinery. They should try to increase their production capacity, and more raw material they should buy. So in this way what will happen, this will this will be a kind of condition when the company is investing on this machinery and all. Then definitely for working upon that machinery, the people will be required. So more people will be appointed by such a company who is doing investment or capital formation. So this is how another employment can be given. Okay. Now help to self-employed persons. So people who are engaged in their own activities, like some people are there who want to work on their own. So there are some various schemes also. Government has been providing some kind of facilities, like Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Yojana is there. So people can take loan from there, they can start and set their own business, and this is a kind of thing which is called as self-employed. So ultimately a person is getting employed, because if we look for some kind of job or some kind of entrepreneur who will provide him the job, maybe it is not possible. So government has come out with some kind of initiative like this. So this is how we can solve the problem. Means some good program should be run by the government. This can also be the suggestion. Okay, now here around 52% of the people are self-employed here in India. So most of them are engaged in agriculture. So beside of them, there is also trade, cottage industry and small industries, building, construction, restaurant, transport. So government should provide facility like irrigation, better seed, manuals, implements credit to small and marginal farmers. So government is already putting a lot of efforts, and also giving some subsidies to the small in scale industries and all. In order they are supporting the people to become entrepreneur. And they should be when the entrepreneurs will come, definitely the employment will also rise. Then educational reforms. So already we have seen this education changes has happened, but they are focusing now on vocational education, like introduction of IP subject, and introduction of financial market subject. So actually some different type of subject is provided. Now they're trying to focus on such kind of subject to get some skills developed in the students. When the skill will be developed, definitely the student will not remain idle, he will be getting somewhere working. Because whenever a student will get some technical kind of knowledge, then definitely he will be productive, and he can do some work by this vocational courses. Okay, like here we can say all these teachers, doctors, qualified engineers can be given financial assistance to set up their own business establishment. So education, when you're educating the person, definitely you can provide him some finance also. In this case, all this technical training can be used, and such kind of people who are doing such kind of learning, they can be motivated to come up or set some industries by taking loan from financial institution or bank. And this is how we can generate more employment. Then technique of production. So technique of production, the labor intensive technique should be used. Means labor technology oriented means when we talk about all these small and cottage industries, this type of companies, industries, they use labor as the workforce, and they don't use so many machineries. So because when the machinery are used, definitely less job will be provided. So here if they will be using labors intensive technique, then in this case more people will be appointed for work. So this technique should be used, and for that we should establish small scale, middle scale industries, cottage industries, like in a case we can say in India, agarbatti production or matchbox sticks production type of industry should be encouraged. So this is how we can improve the condition. So this was your entire chapter. So that's all. If you have any doubt, you can call me or ask on WhatsApp. Thank you.